What drove a humiliated boy to crave not just power, but reverence? But school offered no refuge. The Linz Realschule Ledger from 1901 through 1904 records a bleak sequence of failing marks and teacher complaints. Mathematics, French, even drawing, subjects where he once showed promise, now bore the stamp of disappointment. His grades slipped from average to unsatisfactory, with notations of repeated absences and warnings about lack of discipline. Repeated failures in Linz, then again in Steyr, forced Adolf to repeat grades and endure the public shame of being left behind by his peers. The boy who could not bear the pain of loss or the sting of failure began to imagine himself destined for something greater, if only to escape the reality of being ordinary, overlooked, and ashamed. Each failed exam and public scolding at school deepened the crack between who he was and who he needed to become. They grew in proportion to the humiliation he felt, serving as a shield against the daily reminders of his own inadequacy. The psychological armor would travel with him into adulthood, shaping every encounter with failure, every rejection, and every new attempt to find validation beyond the confines of family and school. The panel's margin note was blunt: too few heads, too many buildings. The official verdict came stamped across his application: abgelehnt, rejected. The date, October 1907, is fixed in the Academy's records, a single word ending years of private fantasy. For a boy who had built his sense of worth on the idea of hidden genius, the Academy's judgment was a public humiliation. The moment when the word abgelehnt was pressed into the admissions book became a turning point, a wound that demanded explanation and eventually a scapegoat. When humiliation and longing for worship are left unchecked, the consequences can shape history. The story of Hitler's early mind shows that evil often begins with ordinary wounds and the refusal to accept human limits.